trying to find people to work, it's kind of a bitch, isn't it?
We hired 10 people this summer, I think, around.
Oh, wow.
And that is after we had 1,500 applicants and probably 200 interviews to get those 10 people. Well, I'll tell you what scares me is that we're going to have robots doing cleaning pretty soon, so I better make sure I buy the robots if we're going to be... In high school, I was dating a girl for, a couple years, whatever else. She was going to Michigan State. I was kind of jealous, felt like a loser. I'm not going away to school, to the big school, right? I'm not going to have any fun. She was so kind enough to remind me of that when I was going to school. She's like, I'm going to be busy. You can't just call me whenever you want. I'm going to be having fun. I was like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
High school girls, man. High school people, both of us, I was probably saying stupid things too.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another installation of Marketing Minds Meet, and we are here at the Knot Co-working Studios in the Knot Co-working Space here in Grosse Pointe Park and in Michigan, or also we call it nicknamed the Bubble because it is a tight-knit community, but it's a really solid community. But today we are back again. And we have an individual, a guest today for you. This is an individual who I have had the distinct pleasure of actually filming once before for another show, Hustle State of Mind, hosted by the great Zach Norris. And this was an individual that we went to college with and actually also was in the same fraternity as a Sigma Alpha Epsilon over at Oakland University. And they have gone down the road of entrepreneurship, and they now are running a very successful home cleaning business in Metro Detroit. And without further ado, I have the one and only David Loria, owner of Squeaky's Cleaning. David, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. I know we tried to plan this for a couple times, and you had a bit of a bug.
Yeah, I don't know what they're cooking up in those labs right now. They got some super bugs coming out right now. I was sick for like a whole month.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're back and healthy, and you're here chatting today with us. So, why don't you tell everyone here about you and Squeaky's Cleaning? Give us a rundown of what that's all about.
Yeah, so pretty simple. Squeaky's Cleaning is a maid service home cleaning company. We're in Oakland County. We service a lot of Oakland County, not all of it. And yeah, we clean homes for a living.
Perfect. So what inspired you to start the company and go down that road of being a business owner and entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I think I've always wanted to be a business owner. A terrible employee. I don't even, my dad sent me something one time, and it's like business owners that are the only people who'd rather work 120 hours a week to avoid working 40. And I think that's true. I think that's just how I'm built. I think I hate working for people, and I just got to do what I got to do type of thing. I started the cleaning company because I was doing kind of freelance marketing stuff. I had like one employee, so maybe I had a business in marketing. I don't know. But we'd sell marketing to home service companies, and I got pretty good at that marketing stuff. And I was like, I just want to do this for myself. I don't want to be selling it to service companies. I just want to own the service business, right? And, I'd see all these companies, and I was like, they're not really doing it right. They're not paying their staff well. They're not creating good jobs. They're not... building a business that they let me step back.
That's okay. Yeah.
I think that it's very hard to market something that doesn't have a good product or service, right? And so I think I was feeling frustrated having to do all the marketing for these companies when I didn't believe in their mission or their company, or that they were doing shoddy work, kind of, right? And so I said, you know what? I want to be able to control the product, control the service, and then be able to market it, right? And that's why I got into the cleaning space.
Yeah, perfect. And then to even circle back, so you even prior to starting Squeaky's, you mentioned a marketing service, and this was actually something you mentioned at your interview for Hustle State of Mind. I kind of wanted to get into that for just a quick second here, because being now doing what I do and being in marketing, When you started that part, what was it that kind of made you go, okay, I think marketing is the field that I should start my path in? Like, what was that inspiration, that aha moment for you for that?
Yeah, I don't know if there was an aha moment. I think I kind of just fell into it. I got pretty good at designing websites and then talked to a business owner here or there, and they'd say, oh, can you make me one? So I'd make them one. And then next thing you know, someone's saying, oh, can you do Google ads for this website? And I said, I can learn how, And then, a couple years later, I had an employee, and we were doing a little bit more revenue, and things were getting more real, I guess. So I really started to learn things and get better at it, But I don't know if I ever loved it that much. I like a lot of pieces of marketing. I don't like doing it full time, I don't think.
Yeah, and I will say too, it's a never-ending cycle of constant continuing education, constant learning, constant keeping up to dates with trends, things of that nature. I will say, at least with websites and software and all that, there's always going to be a need for that. So I think for you to start down that route and then go into now kind of translating some of that into Squeakies, because I've stalked and looked at some of your marketing, and your website is very, very well done. And so that right there, I think that's a strong piece, one big piece of the puzzle that kind of makes your company, kind of stand out and have a brand, have an identity, So now you're running the company now, and so for you, what would you say is, what would you say is your most requested service that you offer with it, and what's the process look like for that when you go out on a job?
Yeah, so the most requested service is just recurring home cleanings, right? So just maintaining someone's home on a recurring basis. The process is pretty simple as far as signing up. They go on our website, they sign up for a quote, we send them a quote. Team arrives day of for the initial cleaning, get the house up to snuff. So the initial cleaning is kind of a bigger cleaning to the goal is we go into a deep clean and then we kind of maintain it after that, right? So we're not spending 8 hours a month there. We're spending, 10 hours the first day and then maybe an hour and a half every couple weeks or something, right? Pretty simple. I think most people understand, what we do. It's not too interesting, unfortunately.
well, I would say too, I think, like I said, having someone like yourself who's, you strike me as an individual that's very, very driven, that's very focused, especially when it comes to, wanting to create a name for yourself, running a business, whether it was cleaning or whatever, or your marketing, it's having that drive, that determination, and now putting that foot forward and more towards this company of yours. I mean, that's a testament, I think, to just the type of person that you are, the character that you have made for yourself. Do you see that same type of morale and motivation in your team?
Absolutely not. And I don't expect them to. So I think that's a mistake business owners make all the time, is they say, why isn't everyone working as hard as me, or why doesn't everyone care as much as me? Now, all jokes aside, my staff work really hard. I totally respect and appreciate the work they do. But the expectation is not that they should take it as seriously as me, right? Because they don't have as much to gain as me, right? So my goal is to create good jobs. People can come to work every day, leave, and then leave all their stress at work, not bring it home with them, not be, changing their lives around it or whatever else. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
no,
they work
totally.
They work very hard, but. And I'm not, if they hear this, they're going to laugh at me. I'm not saying I work harder than them. I'm just saying that I don't expect them to care more about the business than I do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. But the fact that you have a staff that you can rely on, a staff that, like you said, works very hard, that's important, because I don't know what it is, but trying to find people to work, it's kind of a bitch, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So it's not. that didn't just happen overnight, right? Like that's not like I'm very proud that we've put a team together that awesome, right? But to put in perspective, we hired 10 people this summer, I think, around.
Oh wow!
And that is after we had 1,500 applicants and probably 200 interviews to get those 10 people, right? And of those 10 people, I think we've ended up keeping 5. Like not we're firing everyone, but people show up for one day, then they don't show up the next day, or they show up, but we're like, hey, this is not a good fit. So, I mean, it's really difficult. It's a lot of work, and that's the business I'm in, though. It's like we're selling people's time, right? And so we're in the people business. We have to have good people, and so we have to put in a ton of work to make that happen. But the plus side is that all of our clients always say, they're like, oh my God, we love so-and-so who's at our house. We can't believe that, whatever. They're just always impressed by our staff. So it makes me very proud.
Yeah. And like I was saying too, it's, finding good, solid help, reliable help, right? That's a job in and of itself.
Totally is. Yeah.
So now because this is Marketing Minds Meet, I want to get into some of the marketing aspects of Squeakies, and knowing that you have a background in that, running your own marketing company. Where have you seen the biggest successes marketing-wise for Squeakies? Has it been through social media, websites, email blasts, snail mail, text message marketing, or, and where have you seen where the improvements need to be made in your marketing campaign?
So it's Google all day. That is by far the biggest contributor to our marketing. So Google ads, so paid Google ads, Google SEO on our website, and then Google My Business profile and reviews, all that sort of thing. I'd say 90% of our leads come from Google right now. Maybe not anymore, but I think overall, if you took all of our leads from all time, I think 90% are Google. Nowadays, I think it's getting to be more 50-50 Google and referrals. We get a lot of people who post about us in Facebook groups. They'll recommend us in a Facebook group, and then every time that happens, we'll get 100 phone calls from that Facebook group that day. And they're like Facebook, I've never even heard of all these Facebook groups. We got the Oakland County Jewish Moms, the Berkeley moms, a lot of mom groups, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess social media in that way has been helpful for us, but that's almost like a social proof thing. I don't know if I can take much credit for that. We're not out doing anything to get that business. We're just doing a good service, right? Mm-hmm. We've tried Facebook ads in the past, have had mixed success. The problem with our business is that we really want people who are ready to buy calling us, right? We don't want people top of funnel that we have to talk to for a year to think about cleaning, because we have such high demand that we want the people who want us right now to be calling us. We don't want to be talking to someone for 6 months before they decide to use us, right? It's not a good use of our time. We get 100 phone calls a day sometimes. We want to make sure we're talking to people who really want to use our service, right? And that's those customers are on Google because they're searching for a cleaning service, right? On Facebook, if you're hitting people with an ad that says, hey, think about cleaning, right? They might not want cleaning that week, but they might want it eventually. And so you're getting very top of funnel leads that just aren't great for us, just because there are so many bottom of funnel.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring up the fact that on Google, and again, the power of Google, people, Google's not going anywhere. Like you said, searching for cleaning. So when you're going into that platform, you're going into that search engine, you're looking for something. You're looking for a need, you're looking for a want. And when people type in, okay, home cleaning services near me, you probably pop up in the top 3 search results. And it's interesting to hear too. Now, I guess I never really had it being verbalized up until today. Is on social media, it's not necessarily you're finding the people that need it right now. You're just keeping your name and yourself in the front of people's minds, and eventually they may or may not say, hey, you know what? I'm going to shoot them a DM, or hey, I'm going to click on the link here to take me to their phone number, or take me to their website. Click on these backlinks, and that's very interesting. That's a very interesting observation being made. I guess, like I said, it's common knowledge, but I guess I know at least here on this program, we never really heard it verbalized until today. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So you're running this company, and now we are in an era right now where we are looking at the next generation, the next era of the web. We're looking at what's called Web 3. I'm sure you're very aware of this. Yep. Where do you see, and is there any form of evolution with Squeakies to make that leap and get into the realm of Web 3? Have there been talks with you and your staff about, okay, it's here, maybe should we do some research on this, or should we ignore this right now? Or what does Web 3 look like for Squeaky's cleaning for the future?
Yeah, so I've heard Web 3 kind of described in a few ways. Are you thinking like AI, crypto, things like that being a part of Web 3, or how is it?
All of the above, baby.
Okay, so just the future of technology.
The future of technology.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what scares me is that we're gonna have robots doing cleaning pretty soon, so I better make sure I buy the robots if we're gonna be. But otherwise, I don't know. I personally don't have a lot of faith in crypto as being a real store of value other than for investment purposes for the near future, right? I'm sure someone will figure it out and we'll be using it eventually, but for right now, I don't think that it makes any sense for us to take any kind of blockchain payment or anything like that, right? But as far as AI goes, a lot of cleaning companies are finding interesting ways to use AI. A lot of them are using it for the staff, not for the clients. So they'll integrate with a chatbot like ChatGPT, as I'm sure we all know, to create their support help desk for their employees. So think about it this way: if you have 100 staff out in the field cleaning, all the time you're going to be people saying, "Hey, what do I do if something breaks? What do I do if this happens? Whatever else." You can have them message the chatbot. Chatbot says, "Here's the policy of what you do when something breaks in the field." And it explains it to them conversationally, and therefore reduces time on the operations staff. All that's very cool to me, but I don't think I'll ever use it. I don't see any real value for us. I think people are trying to create a need when there really isn't one with things like that sometimes. Maybe I'll feel differently if we have a larger staff, but we just don't have those issues right now.
Yeah, and also too, I think I'm all for Web 3 because technology evolves every day, every second, right?
Sure.
So I think at some point we're gonna see people going to more. It's already happening. It happened with crypto, and yes, there were some faults and kinks in the armor, so to speak, with that. But it's here. The fact that we're having a conversation about it. And I think recognizing it, and I think when people don't recognize it, they just completely dismiss it. I feel like they're doing a disservice for themselves and their company, because you never know what aspect of Web 3 that you're going to be using. Not if you're going to be using it, you're going to use it. Like you mentioned, like AI. Like AI is being utilized on a daily basis. It started with chat. Well, actually, it really started with Siri, back when the first iPhone came out. But now we're seeing it in a form where, now on the top of your Google search, on your computer, your mobile device, your tablet, it has AI generated search there for you. Or on social media, it has AI meta search,
Or even ads right now. I can't believe Facebook ads is so integrated with AI now where it just, you don't even have to do targeting anymore for the most part. It kind of does a lot of it for you.
Yeah. And now I will say too, here's another question, another kind of philosophical, where do we as here we go. Where do we as a society maybe draw the line? It's relying so much on artificial intelligence, because for those that don't know, AI, it stands for artificial intelligence. You're relying on something it's a robot, right? And I actually just heard today, until you mentioned robots, for in your industry, I talked with a colleague of mine, and they went to some, I can't remember what restaurant it was, but they went out somewhere to eat, and they had a robot serve them. And then the robot comes back and literally says, would you like to put a tip? No joke.
That's funny, man.
It's just but you're a machine.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So it's where do we draw the line? And I think that's a conversation that I think a lot of people are having right now. For you, and in your industry, robots can do certain things, but you can only do so much with a machine, right?
Yeah, we're not there yet. Luckily, I mean, we got the Roomba. That's the only thing that I can think of that would actually, even align with what we do, and it's not a replacement for us yet. But I'm sure it will be at some point. But by then, we're gonna have bigger problems than if they're replacing cleaning. They've replaced a lot of things by then. We're gonna have to reorient our entire society around that if we're gonna go that direction.
I know, right? It's like the robots are taking over. So we've now covered that some of the marketing aspect and all that, and now I call this portion the dark side.
Uh-oh.
So we asked some questions here that again strikes a conversation, strikes a narrative, and kind of makes you think outside the box. So first dark side question I have for you, Mr. David Loria. Tell me something about what you do that you don't like and why.
I don't like having to fire people all the time. That really sucks.
Okay.
It's awful. Yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of the business that I'm in. We're going to have to fire people, and we have we're in a high turnover industry. We have relatively low turnover for our staff compared to most cleaning companies, I think. But it's not no turnover. And so I've had to have a lot of difficult conversations, and they're never fun.
No. Well, I think but also at the same time, too, again, it's, the person might be a nice person or what have you, but if they're not doing what they were hired to do, whether it's, they're slow on the field, or they're not interacting properly with your clients or your customers, or they're stealing, it's like you can't have that. And especially when you're the one that's having to run this business, you're the head here, as you're the captain, right? So you have to make some difficult decisions, and that's just the nature of the game, right?
Yeah. What's funny is you mentioned like stealing or whatever else. Those are the really easy times to fire people when they're really concretely messing up. It's like, hey, you did the wrong thing, you got to go, right?
Right.
Those are easy conversations. The very hard ones are when they're kind of ambiguous and it's like not really right, hard to articulate why, which obviously we do articulate why, but it's just those are really difficult. And I'd rather do the bad firings any day compared to the halfway bad ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And but again, you're looking out for your company. You're looking out on, really, when it comes right down to the brass tacks, you're looking at your revenue. You're looking at how is this going to affect me in the long haul when it comes to my profit and my sales, right?
Yeah, well, I think the bigger thing also is that we're looking out for. We go into people's homes. That's an intimate thing, right? So we're in people's homes for hours a day. They have kids. They have dogs. It's like we have to be so careful. We have good people, right? God forbid anything ever happens. Knock on wood, it hasn't happened yet. But actually, that's not entirely true. We had someone steal from a client one time. They stole an $8,000 tennis bracelet.
What?
Yeah, it was really bizarre. We had never had that issue before. The girl had been working for us for about a week. This is actually pretty funny. I'll tell you a really funny story here.
Please do.
So this is even more funny if I don't think she's gonna hear this, but if she did happen to hear this. So we had this girl work for us. She stole this bracelet. I wasn't entirely sure it was her, but I had good reason to believe it was her. And so we had two girls in the house that day that were at this house. I sat them down and I said, hey, this bracelet's missing from this client's home. I said, the client is pissed. Like, they want to put you in jail. I said, they have a nanny cam that sees who took it, but they don't have the data transfer cable. So they won't have the video until it comes in through Amazon for the data transfer. So if you stole it, please let me know. I'm going to go try and talk them down from putting you in jail before they get this data transfer cable. Now, this, of course, was all a lie. Customer wasn't that upset. I mean, they wanted the bracelet back, but they weren't going to put the person in jail. There was no nanny cam. Yeah, was no nanny cam. And within an hour, the girl had given it back to us along with an apology note. So luckily, that all worked out that way. But it just goes to show that no one's immune. We do background checks. We do very intense interviews. We fire if we have any inkling of anything dishonest ever happen, right? But someone's going to sneak in eventually, with malintent. So yeah, that was just kind of a crazy thing. The lie worked.
Yeah. It's like you kind of got into their head, but in this case, you kind of had to because you didn't. Again, you're looking out for your company.
Yeah, looking out for my clients, looking out for my staff.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. You want to make sure that your client's happy. You want to they trust you because, like you said, like you're going into someone's house and cleaning it, and that's a very personal, like you said, intimate kind of a thing. So it's when you breach that and you breach that trust, it's hard. It can be hard to come back from that, right?
Totally. Yeah. Luckily, the client was cool and he understood that it wasn't a representation. He'd been a client for a long time at that point. He understood it wasn't a representation of the people that usually work at Squeaky's. And so, we got it back for him, made good on it, and it's been good ever since, luckily.
Yeah, and it's good to hear. Yeah, but man, it's like, man, they're so fucking pissed. They're going to throw you in jail, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good on you.
I think that there's actually a small amount of people in industries like this that get jobs purely for malintent, which is terrifying. Like they're looking for this job because they're like, oh, I could probably steal from clients if I have that job, right? The good news is that just by the law of averages, most of those people already have a criminal record, so we're not hiring them anyways. But every once in a while, someone, obviously, one time so far, someone sneaks in.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of tough jobs, so that's segue right into the next one. What was one of your toughest, maybe most difficult cleaning jobs that you can recall that you've had?
It's hard because we clean like 100 homes a week, 100 plus homes a week. And some of those are pretty difficult, as far as they require a lot of work, but we like dirty homes where that keeps us in business, right? So you're not going to hear me complaining about homes being too dirty, because we wouldn't be in business otherwise. I think the largest project was we had a new build home that was 20,000 square feet that had just been built, and
wow.
A lot of construction dust, a lot of dusting. They have like 20-foot ceilings. It looked like Somerset Mall. It was crazy.
Oh wow, that's something. Oh wow, jeez. Okay. So dusting, just a lot of dusting.
Yep.
Okay. So one more quick dark side question for you, and this has a little bit of a lore. Are you a connoisseur of music by any chance?
Yeah, I love music. Yeah.
Okay. How familiar are you with blues music?
Not wildly.
Okay. There was a blues musician. He was a guitar player. Dates back to the Depression era. His name was Robert Johnson. He's considered one of the greatest blues artists, blues musicians of all time. And the thing that made him so unique was when he would play and you listen to his songs. Now, I remember back then you didn't have double tracking, nothing like that. It was one take, and that was it. And in his particular case, these were recordings that were done very, very raw, very, sometimes it'd be like out in streets, where he'd be performing in front of people. But the mythos and the lore here is that whenever he played it would sound like there would be two guitar players when really it's just one. So there's that myth of and that lore of, well, did he make a deal? And so how it goes is before he became one of the greatest musicians and greatest guitar players of all time, he was walking down the Crossroads, which that's a popular blues tune that's been covered by many artists.
Yeah, I am familiar with Robert Johnson also. I used to,
Okay.
Ahead, sorry, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay,
I'm
cool.
not familiar with he made a deal with the devil, you're saying? Go ahead, sorry.
Yes. So he meets up with this individual on the Crossroads in the Mississippi Delta. He's walking back home. He's got his guitar with him, and this individual says, "Hey, do you need your guitar tuned?" And he goes, "Sure, I guess." He goes, "Okay, I'll tune your guitar for you." And he goes, "But in exchange, I need something in return." And before this, oddly enough, too, because there have been interviews with individuals that knew him before he became what he was. And they said, he wasn't really all that great. And then all of a sudden, just like that, I don't know what happened. Wow. Just overnight. So the lore is, he made a deal with the devil. And, of course, the devil comes to collect his pay no matter what. That's how it goes. So one night, he was in a juke joint, and he was drinking at the bar. And he took a sip of his drink that he'd had and ordered. And he keeled over and passed away, and he was the first inductee of the 27 Club.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
So
he was 27 when he died?
He was 27.
He sounds like he's like 60 when he's singing.
I know, right? Well, the other crazy thing, too, here is when you go and you try and do, like, research on him, and you try to find whatever, like, facts, or you can try to find some background, you really can't find much. It's really bizarre because all we really have are just people's stories that they have about him. And you gotta remember, he was prominent in the Depression era, so a lot of those individuals that might have known or seen him, they're no longer around. And I believe there's only like one or two like legit photos of him ever.
Wow.
So it's very odd and bizarre.
Very strange. I've never heard this before. That's crazy.
Yeah, and but he is widely considered one of the greatest artists and blues artists of all time. So my question to you, David, is if you happen to have a chance encounter with the devil, and the devil were to look at you and say, David, I understand you have this company, this cleaning company, but I'll tell you what, I can make you a massive success. You would be world renowned. You would have clients calling from all over the world. You'd have celebrities wanting to utilize your cleaning services for their homes and their friends' homes and so on and so forth. But I need something in return. Now, in Robert's case, it was his own life. In your case, it could be that. It could be affecting a loved one, a family member, a friend. However, you would have all the riches in the world. You would have nothing to worry about financially. You'd be set for life. Do you take the deal?
No. No, I'm fine living an average life.
I love it.
Yeah, no, that sounds stressful. I've come back to, I'm getting married in June.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm getting married in the Catholic Church. I grew up Catholic school my whole life, whatever else.
Okay.
Kind of fell away from it in my 20s, I think, as most people do, or a lot of people do. And we've had to go to church again because we're getting married. and I've been like, this is kind of nice, actually. I don't mind it now. Kind of gotten back into it a bit. And I learned recently, kind of to your point about Robert Johnson, OG Bobby Johnson,
Yes.
the Catholic Church still has exorcists. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. So I was watching a documentary of a Catholic exorcist, and he was like, I'm a huge skeptic. He's like, I didn't believe any of this going into my training at the Vatican. He's like, I get there my first night in training, there's a girl levitating, like from The Exorcist, the movie.
Yep.
Above a table. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was really bizarre to me. And they were talking about how they're trained to be skeptics. Like, they're trained to go in and not believe anything they hear. But interesting point, I thought. So after hearing all that and how poorly things go for them, I would not take the deal with the devil.
Well, okay, yes, you are one of the many that have said no.
Okay, good, yeah.
There was only ever actually two individuals that I talked to that said yes.
Was Zach Norris one of them?
Well, no. So it was actually, I was out with my best friend, and we were hanging out in Ferndale, I think it was. Yeah, we were hanging out in Ferndale, and this was like late at night. It was like after midnight. We were going in for our last one, and we happened to start a conversation with this couple, and told them the Robert Johnson lore and all that. And, they might have been playing into the moment or whatever, but, I gave the whole spiel, and then, I said, so would either of you? And without hesitation, they both said, oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like,
wow,
really? And they go, yeah. Like,
what did they want out of it? Just money and fame, or what?
I guess. Or like I said, maybe they were just playing into it and just saying yes just because. But to be so quick about it like that, it was like, okay, like, not everyone in this world is good, or what constitutes good. Good that's relative, right?
Sure.
So, but it was just interesting. Like I said, those are the only two. And I've never seen them again, obviously. Okay, well, you have made it out of the dark side portion, so congratulations.
Sweating.
So now we're actually going to do a little bit of a live stream here. We're going to live stream on my YouTube channel. And, we're going to continue, but we're going to go now what I call the light side. So some more lighthearted, fun questions. Here we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream of Marketing Minds Meet. I am here in the not co-working space in one of the not co-working conference areas / podcast studio areas. And I am joined today by an individual that I have actually I've met and known since college, but we really never really got into some deeper conversation than we have today. And so far, it's been going phenomenally. This is an individual who took the entrepreneur path and now runs a very successful home cleaning business. And they have made a name for themselves in the Metro Detroit region. And I am also proud to call them a fraternity brother of an alumni of Sigma Alpha Epsilon, from Oakland University. So without further ado, I want to introduce everyone here to the one and only David Loria, owner of Squeaky's Cleaning. What's going on, man? Woo! So David, we've been having a riveting conversation here so far, but I want you to tell everyone about who you are and, more importantly, Squeaky's Cleaning, what that's all about, sir.
Sure. Yeah, my name's Dave. 31-year-old average guy, getting married in June, and I own a cleaning company. We clean homes all over Oakland County. I think that's basically it.
Okay, and I know we talked about this before, but for the live stream here, what was the inspiration for you to start your home cleaning business?
Yeah, so I was doing freelance marketing work, and I'd get frustrated having to market for companies that didn't really have a great service or a great product, right? And so I said, you know what? I want to do this for myself. So I started a cleaning company decided I can get the customers. That part would be easy. And then I thought all I had to do is hire people and to do the work. That would be easy too. Could not have been more wrong. That's actually the hard part. You learn pretty quickly. That's the difficult part of owning a cleaning company, is being able to deliver the work. But luckily it's worked out, and now we have about 22 employees, I think, and we're growing every day.
Beautiful. And you know what? See, this is raw. This is real. That is my phone going off, and that's Paramore playing, by the way. Great band also, too. Jem, we're going to let that roll through. And actually, we're going to keep this going.
I thought you had pushed a button like in the radio. I thought this was a new segment. I was like, wow, man, he's really going wild on this. I thought it was the hard times category.
No, it's not. But yeah, wow. God, what great content. Glad you could be here to share that with us today. Okay, so you service Oakland County, really Metro Detroit. So I know we were talking a little bit about this before, but what is it about Squeaky's that makes it stand out from other cleaning companies in the, not even just in the area, but just in general? Like, what is it about Squeaky's Cleaning that makes you stand out from the others?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's by far the quality of our staff. We have awesome, hardworking people who try really hard to help us deliver an awesome service. That paired with, I think, an overall mission of doing good work and overall ethics, things like that are all great. Also, consistency, making sure we're going to be there when we say we're going to be there, making sure we show up to all of our jobs, answering the phone. I mean, like, simple things a lot of companies get wrong.
Yeah, and that's so huge. That's important. And I also think, too, after chatting with you and getting to know you more and more, just I think the drive, the determination, recognizing that, it's not an easy gig. Yes, entrepreneurs always get this question, or this assumption from others. It's, you're your own boss. You get to make your own. You get to do whatever you want, and you get to call the shots, and it must be so easy. It must be so great. Sometimes, sometimes if we can take breaks or we can do whatever we want, but if we're not doing anything, then we're not moving our business forward. We're just at a standstill. So that's on us, right? So it's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but the actions have consequences, right? For every action, there's a reaction.
Totally. Yeah, you can't skate by and expect to collect your same paycheck. It might or maybe the same one, but it's not going to grow without you usually, right?
Right.
The other thing is that, I always say, I can take a day off sometimes when I want to, but the alternative is that if I can't take a day off, if something happens that needs me, there's no way I can get out of it, right? Like, I have to be there. Like, we had a car accident a couple weeks ago. Had to drop everything I was doing and head right there, right? There's no one else that can do that type of work for me, unfortunately, right? So, yeah, it's got trade-offs for sure.
Absolutely. And even like in, I'm sure, because as Dave mentioned, he used to have, he ran a marketing company that he started doing websites and software, and oh my God, marketing. That's a that never stops. It never stops.
Yeah.
It's great. I love what I do. But no, and I think too, understanding and having that knowledge of, yeah, it's like, it's not a perfect world, but you can't imagine yourself doing anything else, and ultimately you love what you do, right?
Depending on the day, yeah. I don't need to love it. I just need to be okay with it. I can make do with what I do, so that's good enough.
I love it. So let's rewind the clock back, and let's go back in time. So we mentioned we were part of Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
This is the real dark part you were talking about, right?
Tell me, how did you find out about the fraternity? And I want to see if there's like a parallel here on, so David joined the fraternity right before I went alumni. So for those that are not aware of the Greek life, how that works on college campuses, you pledge, right? And then if you pass your pledgeship, then you become an active member, and then you do your active term for a couple semesters, 4 years, and you go what's called alumni. You become an alumni. It's a very nice ceremony. So I believe I went alum in 2012, 2013 era, and you were I don't know if you had just got initiated or if you were pledging. So how did you find out about the fraternity?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I was dating a girl for, a couple years, whatever else. She was going to Michigan State. I was kind of jealous, felt like a loser. I'm not going away to school, to the big school, right? I'm not going to have any fun. She was so kind enough to remind me of that when I was going to school. She's like, I'm going to be busy. You can't just call me whenever you want. I'm going to be having fun. I was like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
High school girls, man. High school people, both of us I was probably saying stupid things too. But whatever. So I ended up getting invited to a party at some, I don't know what it was called. What's that place called? Tiki Bob's when I was 18.
Oh, Tiki Bob's. Rest in peace.
Got invited to a party there before the school year started with some guys from SAE. Went there. I was like, well, that was the most fun I ever had in my life. Gonna go do that. So I joined that, broke up with the mean girlfriend, and then the rest was history. Yep.
Yeah, so, okay. What would you say from the fraternity? What was one of the biggest takeaways you experienced from all of that? Good, and even not even bad, but just learning experiences.
Yeah, I think that that was the only time in my life where I felt like I belonged to like a true community. I think that like if you look at all throughout history, most humans have thrived in communities, right? Like back in the tribe days, in the 50s, people were part of clubs all the time. We don't really do that anymore as adults, but like bowling leagues were huge. Women were in knitting clubs, and like the women were like the social network of the neighborhood kind of. All that's gone away. We're very individualistic now. We have internet to kind of keep us tied together, whatever else. But I look back on that time and think, wow, I didn't realize what I had when I had it. Like we had hundreds of our friends, men and women in sororities, fraternities, whatever else, around us all the time. For the most part, everyone was pretty good to each other. We all cared about each other. Obviously, we did stupid things as well. But I look back and I think...
Did we, though?
I look back and I think, wow, there was something real there. Like, we all genuinely cared for each other. I still have friends today. I mean, you and I are in the room today talking, whatever else, right? I think it was just an awesome experience. I think that I wish we were a little more collectivist on a micro level with clubs and organizations and maybe churches, whatever else, so I can get more of that in my adult life.
I think not even just with the fraternity, but like you said, even just like a community base, I'm noticing a pattern here because so when I joined and when I first found out about it, kind of somewhat of a similar situation. I was in my sophomore year actually at OU, and I don't know if you remember another SA member's name was Tom Muse. Yeah, so shout out Tom. It's my best friend. Now he's in Atlanta brewing beer as a brewmaster.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He's killing it. So it was our sophomore year. We were living in Vandenberg. And our freshman year, because that's how we met, we actually met our freshman year of college at OU. And we lived in Hamlin, 9 North. Represent, baby. That was probably one of the best years of my life. But that's another story for another time. But at this point, year 2, a bunch of the individuals that we had befriended, got to know, they weren't there. They either transferred or they were kindly asked not to return.
To Oakland, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You must have ran with a bad crowd back then, huh?
Like you said, we've we've done things that. Anyways, so we happened to we were walking down one of the streets or one of the sidewalks, and there's an individual that's actually running for Congress. Happened to see us, and he lived on our floor our freshman year. And
are you guys the same age? Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And actually, this individual too. I went to high school with him. And,
oh, really?
Yep. And Conrad Kelly.
Oh. So no name shout out for this guy. He's mysterious.
It's Nick Somberg.
Shout out Nick Somberg. I got you, man. I got your name. I'll put respect on your name, dude. Tom Muse. Everyone gets a shout out, and then this guy's just this individual.
Well, I want it to be a surprise.
Oh, I'm sorry. I ruined it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Oh my god. So anyway, so Nick sees us and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" We're like, "Oh, not much." We're in the classic question. Hey, what are you guys up to? And we're like, "Jack shit, dude. Like nothing." He's like, "Well, the fraternity, SAE, the one that I pledged and I'm part of. We're actually doing a bonfire at the house." And I'm gonna be there. Conrad's gonna be there, and a bunch of our other members are gonna be there. You should come check it out if you want. And we're like, sure. Like we had nothing to do because, sophomore year, all of the people that we knew and befriended were pretty much gone. So we get there, and then that's how we met a good chunk of the active members. And met Zach that night. Nate was there. Pretty much most, if not all. I think there was maybe only one or two people that weren't there, but they were like the older actives at the time, so they were kind of like
on their way out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then that's how it started. So to tie it all together, it's like kind of like that sense of, because I think we as individuals and just as human beings, we want to have a sense of belonging, right?
Sure.
So I think in this case, we felt we didn't know where we belonged, besides going to class or not going to class. But, and then now this opportunity presented itself. So yes, it was thanks to Nick. We became active, and then we pledged, and then became active, and then Tom was on the e-board for a little bit, and then my last year I was the recorder on the e-board. And I will say this too, and I do want to relay this question to you as well. I think for me, whether I knew it or not, especially when being on the e-board, the executive board, I think that really was the first nuclei of kind of taking initiative and really wanting to do something that was better, really wanting to be an example. And, I don't know, I always credit that part of kind of like my professional and personal journey. I equate that to the fraternity and having that opportunity being presented. Did you have any sort of similar experience like that when you were active?
No, I was mostly just screwing around, getting drunk all the time. So I can't say that I did. No, I think we used to... DJ Matt L and I. Shout out to DJ
Matt L, baby!
We used to host parties at... we'd rent out venues and host parties and charge cover, and I'd make $200. I thought I was a millionaire. And I think that was like the first, money-making venture I had that actually made any money. Not much, but, learned some things.
Absolutely. And I will say this. I don't know if you remember this. You might not, because it was so long ago. God, I feel so old. I think you were pledging, and I remember. I think we went to. I don't know where we were at, but I think you and a couple of the younger people at the time, because myself and my pledge class, we were kind of aging out. We were getting ready to go to the next phase of our life.
Yeah, 3 years might as well be 20 years at that age too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's astounding now looking back. It's like, it really wasn't that old.
We were peers, but when I think back, I thought you were like 40 at the time. So
I know, that's how I thought of the older actors at that time too.
Yeah.
When I was pledging. So I remember it's every now and then when I ran into you producing Zach's show, it popped into my brain. I didn't mention it just because we were just engaged in so much other great conversation. I remember you I don't know if it was Matt, but it was you and a couple other members, and then maybe like a sorority girl or two. And you guys went to McDonald's, and you came back and you ordered a Happy Meal. And you fucking owned it, like, and everyone was like chastising you, like, dude, like, what the hell, like, what's the matter? How old are you, 2? And like, you were just like, what's the problem? This seems like that's your problem. Maybe I want the Happy Meal. Maybe I want it. you.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't remember that, but I will say, ironically, today I tried the Krabby Patty meal at Wendy's. So
did you?
Nothing's changed. Yeah.
Oh snap.
Yeah, you know what it tasted like?
What?
Every other fast food burger I've had. I was kind of upset by it, but oh well.
But yeah, that memory of you always stuck with. I think it was at the time it was so absurd, but it was like you owned it, and
That's
I was
funny. Yeah,
and I was just
that.
I was like, good for. I remember thinking, good for him. You know what? He's gonna go places. Yeah, hilarious. So when you are not running Squeakies and, you know, being the boss that you are, making the moves, being progressive and, you know, just evolving, what does David Loria like to do in his downtime? What are your hobbies and activities you enjoy doing?
Yeah, like to go skiing a lot. Skiing's a big hobby of mine. My whole family, we're a family of skiers. Play some video games every now and then.
Oh, nice.
Counter-Strike. Rust. Have you ever played that before?
I can't say I have. Are you PC, console?
PC, yeah.
Okay, PC.
Yeah, not as much as I used to, whatever, but my, friends will be on, we'll all hop on every once in a while. Other than that, it's been wedding preparation. We just bought a house, so we've been doing a lot of housework. Things like that, normal life stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And so you bought a house. How has that been? How's home ownership been treating you?
It's expensive. That's basically it. It's expensive. No, I mean, it's fine. I mean, the much more difficult thing, it's been the wedding preparation. It's just every day we're learning about a new $5,000 expense we didn't have. So I don't recommend, honestly, if I want to be a billionaire, I should just get out of this business and sell whatever people sell for weddings, because everything they sell is marked up 300% for a wedding. I can't even believe it, how expensive it all is. It's crazy.
Well, so Tom Muse, he got married last year, we man, I was the best man in his wedding and all that, and just the updates he was telling me, and and for the record, he loves his wife very dearly. He loves Morgan, but he's just like, man, he's like, it's stressful, man. He's like, I never would have imagined. He's like, I know weddings are stressful. He's like, but this.
You're saying being married was stressful, or the wedding was stressful?
The wedding,
okay,
and everything leading up to it. No, he loves married life.
Okay, yeah.
He loves married life. He loves his wife. That's the most important thing. But yeah, no, he was just like, man, like all this preparation. He's like, and like when it was getting closer, man, like he like turned into a different person, and I'm just like, be okay, dude. Like you're gonna be fine, and
yeah. I just can't get over how every item that you buy for a wedding, if it has the word wedding before it, they mark it up a bunch. Like I'm going to start selling cleaning for weddings, because I could sell it for $1 trillion, I think.
Yeah, I think you could. Hey, you know what? There's an idea.
Yeah,
there's an idea to evolve.
Yep.
Okay, so speaking of evolving, so for you now, you've been running Squeakies for a while now. So for you, where do you hope to see the future for Squeakies in the next 5 to 10 years? What does the future for Squeakies cleaning look like to you?
Yeah, so I'd say the big thing is I want to continue to work myself out of the day-to-day operations, right? So I'd like to be putting people underneath me. I'm not great at my job. I'm not like you keep saying I'm driven, Walter, and I'm not, dude. I'm not. I'm kind of lazy. My employees are always calling me, trying to make me do work. No, I mean, I'm not a very detail-oriented person. I'm a strong starter. I'm good at the beginning stuff. I'm good when things are fast-paced and crazy, whatever else. And as things start to settle and become more repetitive, I get less and less interested in it, right? And so now that Squeakies is kind of self-sustaining on the operations level, on the, let's say the lower level operations, some of those higher level operations, I have to start hiring people to kind of take some of my workload off. So that's the big thing for me is I want to have less input in the day to day. And then I want to continue we have a lot of awesome benefits for our staff. We can only afford those if we're relatively big and able to do that, right? So like, for instance, our staff gets the week between Christmas and New Year's off paid. They get PTO, they get good benefits. That most of the stuff's unheard of for like an hourly job with no prior experience, no degree, right? The fact that they get 60 hours of PTO a year plus a week off of Christmas. I mean, 3 weeks off a year almost. It's like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I want to continue to be able to do those things and continue to create jobs people are happy with and all that stuff. So those are my two big goals, I'd say.
Awesome. And I think those are absolutely very attainable. And yeah, at the rate you're going, I would not be surprised to see that happen at all. We're up, but one last final question, and this is one of the most important ones. They're all important, but this one I feel is top 3 most important. How can people find Squeaky's Cleaning? Do you have a website, phone number, email, social media? Now is the time to plug all of the things Squeaky Cleaning so people can find you and give you a call.
Sure. Yeah. Squeakiescleaning.com. You can just Google Squeaky's Cleaning, SQUEAKYS. If you're in Royal Oak or Berkeley or Birmingham or Clawson or any of those areas, Ferndale, if you search home cleaning near me, we'll show up usually. Phone number is 248-980-7468. Give Nina, our office manager, a call. Tell her you heard us on the Marketing Mindset podcast. I'll even throw in a discount. What should it be, Walter? What should it be? 5%, 10% off?
You know what? You're the owner. I am not in one to
15% off your first cleaning with code WA Hooper.
I love it. Oh, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
There you go. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, Sir David of Loria, I have thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you today. Really getting to know you better and more. And we, like I said, we went to college together, but I was on my way out, and he was the start of the new era of the fraternity. So I was excited to see him in his pledge class do some great things. But this has been another installment of Marketing Minds Meet, and I am Walter Hooper, your host. We are here at the Not Co-working Space inside the Madison Conference Room podcast studio room area, and thank you so much for tuning in. And if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, where you can be kept up to date with all things Marketing Minds Meet. And we will see you on the next installment. Thank you so much, and have a good one.